Hey guys, welcome to Brewskis with Banks. Today my guest is a fantastic piano player, keyboardist, a very in-demand musician right now, and one of my close collaborators, Rahul Wadhwani.
Hey Gino, thank you
Hey,
for
Rahul.
having me, man.
Thank you for being here. Okay, so let's start from the beginning. When did music enter your life?
I think I was, if I remember it correctly, around 5 years old, and my dad gifted me one of those toy keyboards,
Okay.
and I remember playing the three black notes, descending like B flat, A flat, and G flat, and it sounded like da da da, and that's like the first three notes of Pardesi Jana Ne. I was like, man, oh, you can play music on this. I mean, that was my eureka sort of moment. And the interesting part was the first three notes where it came naturally, but the next few notes I found it by myself. And that's
Okay.
when I realized, oh, okay, I think it's possible to play on this instrument. I had no background. I mean, there was no one in the town where I come from, and nothing of that sort. So everything was like in that moment, and from there onwards, self-teaching myself
With that keyboard?
for a few months, and then I demanded for another one, which was also not the best one. It was, I think, Casio SA21,
How many octaves?
3.5, I think.
Not bad.
Yeah, but those small keys. Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
And then I played on that for, I think, 4-5 years.
Wow.
Yeah, that was too stressed. Now
But just
that I think about
teaching yourself? No
Teaching
lessons.
myself, no, nothing. In fact, I think we had these cassette players, and I used to like transcribe, which I know the word now. Back then, I didn't know what I was doing. I was just like playing a line and then trying to get it on the keyboard, and then go back and then try to get it again.
What kind of music?
Only Bollywood, because there was nothing else that I heard that time.
So you were kind of just trying to learn by ear and play those songs?
Exactly. And if I remember it correctly, I think for the longest time it was only the melodies. Like I didn't even know the concept of like chords. And
So just your
harmony.
right hand?
Just right hand.
Okay.
Yeah,
Harmonium style.
that's it.
Nice.
Yeah,
So this is all self-motivated. Like you just enjoyed it.
absolutely. I enjoyed it so much, and I remember no one else did also, which because I was playing all the time.
Right.
In fact, I think after a few years, when people saw, like at home, they saw my obsession with music. I remember this instance where my family was watching some reality TV show, and I was with my keyboard trying to transcribe what was being played, and they said, "What are you doing? Like we are trying to listen." So I went in the next room, and with my ears on the wall and trying to listen and then transcribe again. But the thing was, like, they could still hear me. So my sister came and just took the adapter out, and I wasn't allowed to play for a few days after
Oh,
that.
shucks.
One of those.
You
But
were
I was
over
like,
transcribing.
yeah. I was like this crazy sort of, I didn't know, like, this pure joy was there, like, with music from that very first moment. That's why I remember it. So I don't have much of my childhood memories, but this I remember.
Right.
Yeah.
So then how did your music evolve from you just playing for fun, trying to learn melodies? How did it progress?
I was so I started when I was 5, and this was continued till I was 17 or so. So for 12-13 years it was just self-taught. Of course, I was in the school. One of the teachers, he came and he knew something about like chords, like C major, F major, so he showed me a few things, but still more or less it was self-taught. And then when I was 17, I think I moved for my graduation to Nagpur, which was like a relatively bigger city.
Yeah.
Which is where I found out about those Trinity courses and stuff.
Okay.
And I was like, okay, wow, there's something that to learn from. Which is where my so-called like formal training kind of started there.
Okay. So
Yeah.
there was no reading music before this?
Nothing, no. Literally, like, what is a star, like what is C? Like, it
Right.
started when I was 17. So for good 12, 13 years, I was just playing by ear.
And then I remember you mentioning to me earlier on that you were into like heavy music.
Yeah. So when I went to Nagpur, I heard this Trinity, like it was this rock and pop sort of course.
Songs.
Yeah, songs. So Green Sleeves and stuff like that were there. And while I was studying that, some people were listening to some heavy stuff in college. And I was like, whoa, what is that? And yeah, I think cut to like few years before, I also picked up guitar just by accident. So I was playing. And then when I heard this rock sort of music, I was like, oh wow, okay, this would be cool. And one of my cousins, he was also like seeing what I was doing. So he bought a guitar for himself, one of those X-shaped,
Yeah.
He just went and bought one and with a processor. So we were just playing with those like distortion sounds, and I was like, wow, okay, I think it's possible to play this music with this sound. So
what kind of bands were you listening to?
that time, I think anything from like Metallica to Lamb of God, Slipknot, we got into like that stuff as well.
Okay,
like heavy stuff. Yeah. And I used to trip on it. Like I can't imagine myself. Every once in a while, even now, I play and try to relate to it, and I enjoy it for a little while at least.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. And then in those 4 years when I was in Nagpur, I had different music phases. Like, so rock phase was there. Then there was this guitar player called Daniel Arlington, I remember. He used to live in Nagpur, and he was heavy into Dream Theater stuff.
Right.
Only actually into that.
Okay.
And he wanted someone to play with in his band, so he hired me. And I had no chops, those fast lines like Jordan Rudess.
Yeah.
I can't even imagine that I was in that band. But I think he didn't have many options, so he called me. So I got into that stuff as well. And then also hip hop. I had a phase in that. So that was in those 4 years I was exposed to a lot of different music. Still not jazz though. Like I didn't know about jazz even after graduating from college. Like I was just playing this music. Then I went to Pune for further exploration. Like I asked my dad to allow me some time to figure it out. And then in Pune, then somehow someone showed me like jazz records, a couple of them, and then from there it started.
Okay, so you had interest when you heard like the jazz songs, the music.
Mm-hmm.
You had an interest to kind of play this music?
Man.
Or did you see gigs?
Nothing.
No.
So what was one thing I missed? I was in Nagpur. I was also studying Indian classical music, like to sing. I shouldn't say it anymore because I can't sing to save my life. But back then I was like really practicing like 4-5 hours a day kind of a thing. And so what I really liked about Indian music was the improvisation aspect in it. But what didn't feel right, and I didn't know back then, is like this is not my instrument. Like I was trying to sing, but my main instrument was keyboards.
Right.
And when I heard jazz for the first time, it struck me so hard. Like I was like, okay, this is the music, because I wanted improv was like something very fascinating to me, but to do it on my instrument, like jazz music seemed like the apt thing.
Yeah. And it was the piano, like the sound of piano. Was that a thing? Like when you heard it in jazz, it was the piano?
Not just that, anything like sax or whatever. Just this idea of like blowing, and I was like, what the hell is this music? Yeah. I had no clue, man. Even years later when I was studying also, I couldn't always relate to a lot of it, but I was just having a time of my life. I'm like, man, I want to, play this music. In fact, I remember the first time I heard jazz records, like there were two things I heard. One was the Chick Corea band, and other one was the Key Jarrett trio.
Okay.
So I don't know. I still can't remember where exactly I got these records from. Some hard disc someone gave me, and I played. And when I heard like Key Jarrett trio, like I started crying. And my cousin, I was in Pune then. My cousin came and he's like, "What happened?" And I'm like, I want to play this music, whatever this is. I don't know what this is. It was that like strong.
Okay.
And there are some some of these strong moments in your life which you don't forget. I can still remember the time of the day and where I was sitting, all of that. So that was there.
Far out. So just no prior connection. You were moved by this.
Yeah. I think so. A lot of people like now they ask me, how do you get into jazz being in Yavatmal? I'm like, I didn't. Like I was playing Bollywood music.
Yeah, but okay, that explains a lot about your overall, probably your approach to playing music and your individuality of having, of course, growing up in a Bollywood music setting, to getting to heavy music, to getting to hip hop, all this eclectic musics, and then pursuing jazz. It informs your playing and your musicality and things like that, don't you think?
Yeah, it does. I mean, to tell you the truth, like when I was learning jazz music, I'm like, I was trying to be like this purist. I'm like, oh, you can't be playing different styles and be good at one thing. So I think the jazz musicians call it jazz snob. So I was one of those for for a time.
I think you have to be in order to dig deep.
Yeah.
You have to for a phase, at least in your learning.
I completely agree, and but what's important is also to get out of it.
That's probably most important.
Yeah, exactly. Which getting in is easy. I think getting out is difficult. And but I got out because I learned like in a hard way. When I came to Bombay, I was like, yeah, I've studied in Austria. I think I can do well, and all of that. 1 year, everything came down. Okay. I became humble because I had to. And I realized, like, I remember in my first year, I was called to play, the singer-songwriter, he called me to play with him. But he was like a country bluegrass musician. And he's like, okay, Rahul, I'm going to play my song to you and you can play on it. So I was saying, what do you want me to play? He's like, do your thing, man. You have studied music. And I'm like, okay. And he was playing like very simple, like bluegrass stuff. And I'm playing all these dance changes on that. So after finishing the song, he's like, I'm like, what do you think? He's like, it's okay, but now try to play 90% less of what you just played. That was a lesson for me. And from there onwards, I realized, and it was, I think first 2-3 years, a lot of people called me only once because I couldn't fit in.
Right.
And that way I really learned how to try to fit in and see what is required as opposed to what you want to do.
Right.
And this egoistic sort of playing, that sometimes like when you learn the hard way, then it's good for life.
Yeah, of course. You'll never make that mistake again.
Exactly. Yeah.
Let's backtrack a little bit. Like, so you were in Pune. You got exposed to jazz. How did that pursuit now, learning to play jazz, happen?
From Pune, oh yeah. So I was there, and so before that, when I moved, I asked my dad, I want to move out of Nagpur and go somewhere. He's like, where? So I had Mumbai and Pune as options, but I was so scared, like Mumbai, I'm like, I've seen on TV like Bollywood and big everything is like grand. So I was scared. That's why I went to Pune in the first place. And then when I heard jazz,
were you going to Shisha Cafe? Did you go?
I did go to watch, and I was looking for people to teach me this music, but I found nobody there because there is no one. At least back then there wasn't. Right. I remember Vinay Kaushal I met. Yeah, he was into it, so we were meeting and playing sometimes. But I didn't know anything. I didn't know like even 251s what they were. Then someone told me about. So then I understood that I have to go to Bombay too. There are some people here. So I found out about a few people, which I took one lesson each, and it didn't work out like just as a student teacher thing. And eventually met Sanjay, and he was like, Rahul, it's very easy, bro. It's like, he taught me Sunny.
Oh, right.
Yeah. Like, and then, so he just broke it down so well. That's what, I mean, we all now I know like what the kind of person and the musician he is. But
Right.
back then I was like, how is he doing? Because I kid you not, I almost gave up. I'm like, I don't think so. I can learn this music. I love it, but maybe it's not my thing. It came to that. Also, what I learned is not every good musician is a good teacher. That was like a biggest lesson. So from Sanjay, I was learning for 2 years. I used to come twice a month. Take
Oh, you were
those-
still living in Pune at the
yeah,
time?
yeah. So I
Okay.
used to take those Shivneri buses,
Right.
get down at Chembur, go to his place, come down, have vada pav or something, and go back to Pune. That was, and I used to record his lessons, and on the way, just write down the notes he used to talk.
Did you
about.
catch any of our gigs during that time?
Yes, I did. Oh no, back then.
Were you attending gigs also in Mumbai, or were you just coming for the lesson?
No,
and
no,
going back?
I don't think so. I was attending gigs.
So once
no.
you moved here, then you started.
Yeah. Then I started attending, but yeah. So this happened with Sanjay for like a year and a half or so, and then suddenly, so I was also continuing to study Indian classical music, and I found this legend musician, Mr. Satyashil Deshpande is his name. He's this classical, like really a. I don't even know what the word to use, but he's like this scholar, like philosopher, and really, he showed me, actually, he was the first one to show me what an art form is. Like up till now, I was like, okay, classical music is a style of music, jazz is also a style of music, but he showed me through classical music what an art form can do. Like you can actually. It's like this ocean of things, and you can open it up. The more you dig deep, it opens up. So I used to live like in a garage opposite his house to study from him. And one day we were having breakfast together, and he said, Rahul, there's this trumpet player from Austria. He's coming to meet me, and he's a jazz trumpet player. So I think you might enjoy meeting him. And I was playing for 1.5 years already, learning this music. So I got super excited. Turns out it was Manfred Weinberger for the first time I met him. And I don't know what he saw in me. He's like, I think more than the music, he saw that I was very like hungry to learn this music. So we jammed a little bit in that garage that I was living in. And he's like, Rahul, what do you want to do now in future? I'm like, I want to study this music, but my parents were like, I shouldn't say like my dad wasn't supportive, but I knew that the college fees and everything was too expensive, so I didn't even bother asking him. So he's like, what if I figure some like scholarship for you? And I was like, it's one of those moments where someone's saying something but they don't mean it.
Right.
But he actually went back, and in a week I got an email from him. He's like, can you send me like 2-3 videos of you playing? And which I did, and then he shared it with the university people, and he said like, there's this guy, he has potential and he wants to learn. So they have these cultural exchange programs, right? So that's how they got me in. Okay. And they said, you can join in 6 months from now, but you need to learn German like B2 level or so. I was like, yeah, I'll do whatever. And after 4 months, I only finished A1 or something. So of course it's like B2 is like this fluent.
Okay.
But anyways, they were like, okay, you come, we'll figure it out. So they put me in different places, like where lessons in English were happening. So my theory lesson was in the conservatory, the ensembles were in the university, and my solo piano lesson was in a different city where my piano teacher actually was there. So I was going to 3 different schools but everything was in English then after that.
How was that commute though? You managed the commute?
I did. And it's a whole, I think it will take another podcast to talk about the help I got from people. They're incredible. I think I've been super lucky, to say the least, because I found these like godsend people, they really helped me. Like my piano teacher is one of the most biggest reasons what I can do right now, because I didn't have money. So he used to actually, this one thing I want to share with you, even the trains were expensive from Vienna to like Upper Austria where he was staying. So he used to tell me like, you come halfway, and he would drive like 45 minutes on the other side to pick me up and to that station and take me to school and then drop me back to that station.
Wow.
Every time for like till the time I was there.
That's amazing.
Yeah. So there were moments like these, and that's how it continued, and I got serious into studying this music. Yeah.
So you were there for how long?
So I was there for 1 year and couple of months after that. Then I had some personal reasons, and I had to come back. But then after that, I went again. But next when I went, it was like in like I went for a month and then came back, and that's how I used to go and study. So my formal education was there only, like you can say, like little more than a year there. But then since this was in 2016, and from then till now, except the COVID year, I think I've been going every year, and I spend like closer to a month with my teacher, and spend some time with him.
Did we meet before you went to Austria?
No, we met right after.
Okay.
I remember meeting you. I think it was Cafe Zoe.
Right.
You were playing with. I can't remember with whom, but you were there.
Could have been with Dad. Could have been with Sanjay. Could have been.
Yeah, I don't think so. Uncle wasn't there, but yeah, maybe Sanjay.
Maybe Sanjay.
Yeah,
Sanjay and Carl, maybe.
Maybe, yeah. And then I met you. I think I saw you once at Furtado's. Sridhar Parthasarthi was. He had his workshop thing.
Yes.
You were there, but I was too scared to come and say hi. I saw you passing. But at Zoe, I think I came and said, hey, I play piano and I would love to. And you were like, how you are. You were like, yeah, man, come home, let's play. And all. So I think soon after that, I came here and we played.
Okay, so you're in Mumbai now.
Yeah.
And now you come from this formal education, like you said earlier, and then learning things the hard way, getting involved in projects.
Right.
So now, how did that start picking up?
So, yeah, like I said, first I came like this jazz snob, and I'm like, yeah, I'll play. And what was cool is like the moment I came, I started getting busy. And this was, I thought, because I'm good. But later I realized the reason is not that. The reason was when someone new comes from somewhere, everyone wants to try.
Yeah.
So I was like, wow, everyone's calling me, and I might be really good. and later I realized that call was only once.
Okay.
You can think that you are you fit in if you get calls again, but that was a thing that I learned later. So first year was great. I was playing with different people and all of that. And after that I realized that it's not I should be I stopped getting calls. So then I was in that insecure phase, what am I doing something wrong, or I'm not good enough. And I always used to think, like, if you're a good player, then even if you're like not a good person or whatever, you will still get calls. So I would be like further practicing and trying to be good, and just this one thing, very like sort of coming from a negative space in a way, like insecure space, like I want to be better than this guy and that guy, all of that. So I had that phase for a long time.
Yeah, but I think something like that pushes you also. You know what I mean? Like they say healthy competition, right? But it's the idea behind it is because you want to be the best. Right?
Yeah.
So it pushes you to be the best that you can be, so you deliver accordingly also. You work harder.
Yeah. So yes, a part of it, I agree with you. It definitely pushes you. But I think
the positive and negative versions of those.
Yeah, right? I think you have to find that balance where when do you step out of it? Like for instance, when eventually after 3 years of living in Bombay, or maybe even more, I think I had this moment of calmness when I realized that the biggest competition is like I'm competing with myself. You know, I have to be better than who I am. I cannot be better than anybody, because everyone has their own journey, and which we all know now. But like, there's a point where, you know, you are like specific, that one guy. Always when you see that guy, it's like, I won't say the name, but it used to be like, yeah, I think I want to play better than him. I mean, that's so bad. Like, we are sort of contradicting the purpose of what we are doing, you know, like musically. So even when you're stage and you are thinking about this, you won't be sounding good, because you're it's not coming from a right place.
Right.
So
So intentions are wrong for what you're doing.
Exactly. Of course, it pushes, and it pushed me like hell, and I was always this nerd sort of.
That's the positive side to it.
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
you're not getting stuck and being complacent. I'm okay. This is good enough.
Yeah.
No, you wanna up it. You know.
I think that's one thing is important for every musician who wants to grow, to have like you cannot be like completely like satisfied. This thing about the urge to know more has to be there. Otherwise, even let's say if you're the best, whatever that means, there'll be a point where someone else will come who is like 10 times better than you, and then what do you do?
Right. I mean, you can only be the best version of you at that time.
Exactly.
Can you be better tomorrow? Of course you can. You put in the work, you're more experienced, you know.
Exactly.
And as long as you're doing the job that you need to do, and the playing the music probably from the right space, that's good enough, I think, you know.
Yeah, and then you keep learning from the mistakes that you make, and try to analyze like why did someone didn't call you, like why did something did not work. I mean, later I realized a lot of times it's not even about the music, it's about like someone connects with you and someone does not. It's something
Chemistry.
as simple as that.
That's true.
But I used to like be so hard on myself. Why did this not work? Like, you know.
Yeah, that's a big factor actually in like bands and projects, is about like outside of music, how do you get along with people, or do you vibe, you know? Some people just want a particular vibe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because you're playing music only for 90 minutes, but otherwise you're on the road for the whole day with someone, and people want to be comfortable with you.
Yeah.
So this is like rather more important factor than, which I later realized, like even if I'm not like the best musician for the person who is hiring me, if they connect with me, they are still going to call me, and vice versa is also true. So yeah.
Yeah. So what projects were you starting to get involved in at that time while you were in Mumbai, when you were breaking into the scene here?
So first was like first year, like I said, it was only jazz gigs, you know. So just playing with whoever was around. I remember like I used to go to Bandra Base pretty much every week.
Of course, I remember. Yeah.
And hang there, meet musicians. And so this happened first year. Then I think after that, so I met Rajiv Raja. Used to play with him a lot. And Adil also I met in the early years, so used to play that. And then I realized that it wasn't enough, like even in terms of, so my whole thing was like, to be honest with you, like how do I make more money?
Yeah, because you're now becoming a working musician.
Yeah.
Right? So now this is your career.
Right. And I'm seeing all kinds of people, you know. So of course I knew that the student in me is going to be alive, so I didn't have to work towards like getting better, because that part of me was already constant. But then this thing came, so I was like, oh wow, seems like Bollywood is the space, you know. And then I'm like, how will people know about me? So someone told me like, nobody will know about you unless you go and tell them about you. So Gino, I remember I knocked pretty much every door, like SEL to SS. Like I went to every studio. I'm like, hi, I'm Rahul, you know. And again, none of that worked out back then. And I was again thinking, oh, maybe I'm not good enough, all of that stupid stuff. But this continued over the years. But each year I realized like the projects kept getting better in terms of like people when they were calling me. So I realized now, as I'm talking to you also, I realized like whatever I wanted in that moment never happened, but something else did happen, which after long time I realized, like, like there's something else planned for me, so I don't have to worry
Right.
about it. I don't have to force, like push myself to do it.
I believe in this concept of like, because you're putting in the work. It's not like you're just sitting and waiting for things to happen. You're practicing, you're developing,
Right.
you're working hard, and but what you kind of want to happen is not happening, but suddenly something else happens.
Right.
You know?
Yeah.
And then maybe it's trying to stir you in the direction that you're supposed to go in, as opposed to what
Exactly.
you think you should go. in.
Exactly. I mean, I had like really tough times financially for a long time, and I was like, each year when this off season used to come, I used to be like completely depressed. I'm like, how do I make it work, for me? So every year I would like then start questioning about this. But then uh, I remember, I think like few years back, I realized uh, whether I worry or not, things are being taken care of. I keep worrying, but like I'm always going forward. So which means things are happening. So I kind of left it. I really believe in this universe thing. You just keep putting the energy and hard work, and whatever is meant to happen for you will happen. So that's that really calmed me down again. And surprisingly, after that work, also the quality of work started getting better as well. So
Yeah.
that was I was like, okay, let's just follow this path now.
So while you were working here with a bunch of artists, you were kind of part of many bands, and still are. You recorded albums in Austria.
Yeah, so what happened when I came to Bombay in 2016? Like I said, every year I was going to Austria again to mainly to study from Martin, but I was also meeting Manfred during this point, and I think Manfred had this idea of writing like an album together since like I came back to Bombay, and I invited him here and we booked some clubs and we played some standards. But like he was like, Rahul, we should write some music together, and I was like, yeah, it would be an honor. So I think in 2018 was the first time when we decided that he'll send me some song ideas and I'll send him some song ideas, which is what we did.
Yeah.
And then later that year we met and we I think spent 10 days together to work on that music and recorded the first album. So before that I recorded my solo piano EP.
The solo piano was before the duo
Before,
album.
yeah.
Right,
That was in
okay.
Bombay. Yeah,
Okay,
correct.
okay.
Yeah, that was there.
Oh, that was in Mumbai?
That was in Mumbai at Island City.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
In fact, Harsh, I think he recorded. That's when I met him for the first time, and so that was one thing. And solo piano was something I found very special for me as a topic, because like this thing of being alone and you can. It's intimidating. Like the silence can be really scary. For 90 minutes for you to play, so you have to create a graph of things. So it was scary, and but I was somehow enjoying it. So it pushed me to write some music, and I wrote a couple of songs, I think, and recorded that. After which, then I did this thing with Manfred, and we recorded our first duo album in. This beautiful studio, I'm forgetting the name, Wave Garden it's called. It's like this, man, maybe someday.
I saw pictures of it. I think I remember you posted some pictures online.
Might have. And this was this beautiful, like very big, like how Yash Raj is like grand. And they had a Steinway D there. It's like kept this piece of art,
Yeah.
In fact, I, first time I went there just to try, and I played on that piano and it felt so unreal. Also, I was not feeling comfortable for some reason. So then I figured out it's probably not tuned in 440 hertz. So I checked with them, is it like a little up? So they said, yeah, it's in 442. the tuning is in 442. I'm like, can we tune it to 440? So this guy, he says, you can find some other studio if you want. We are not changing anything. Yeah. So later I realized, like, in Europe it's common to have piano tuned to from the classical background, I think.
Right.
But I still managed, and I barely, actually, now that I think about it, because I wasn't used to playing on like grand pianos so much also, let alone this Steinway D thing. And also it was tough to play because Manfred is like solid trumpet player, and trumpet can really cut through everything. So, and I wasn't like a strong piano player, so like I can't listen to those recordings now, to be honest, because I think I'm like this timid sort of sound where he's like going for it.
Right.
But again, like, I think every experience I learned so much, because when you listen to yourself, you're like, man, this is something I need to work on. Actually, since then, I also started recording all the gigs I play, like everything which I was telling you the other day. Yeah.
So it's like snapshots for that time.
Yeah.
Important thing is to let it go after.
That's true. Yeah. Which is also something you learn over the period of time.
Yeah. But very important, I think,
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah. I mean, if I was hung up to that one thing, I would have not recorded the other albums. But each time I recorded, even my the solo piano album I recorded last year was in Austria again.
Right.
And when I listen to it now, there's so many errors in it, but I'm like, I know what needed, what
but
was
like
wrong.
it's better than the previous one, so it keeps getting better like it should be.
Absolutely.
Yeah. When we played with Manfred, was it after you did the album? Did we play original music also?
Yes. We played, I think it was mostly
the originals.
Yeah.
Right.
Manfred's and mine.
Right.
Yeah.
We did NCPA and another gig. Did we do 2 gigs?
Bonobo?
I mean, NCPA, I remember.
NCPA,
that was
of
a
course,
good show. I enjoyed that. It was a good crowd. It was a good concert.
Yeah, and good sound. And I mean, man, it was very special.
Yeah.
The great band was there.
No, it was good. It was good to play that music. And I think that's the first time we started to play original music.
Also,
of yours.
Yeah.
Right.
We did, yeah.
And so, of course, we worked together in many projects.
That's true.
Right?
Yeah.
But you've also collaborated with some great musicians, like Trilok, Gurtu, for example. You can talk about that experience.
Yeah. I'm trying to see if before him, because that was like this, like very high level thing. Before him,
I mean, with Sanjay you started playing.
Yeah, with Sanjay. Oh yeah, this I should maybe mention, because Adrian called me to play as a trio with Sanjay, and I was like, okay, that's cool, but who is playing bass? He's like, can you play? I'm like, no, I'm not playing. Especially when Sanjay is there, I want that freedom. And we played like this some recording we did at Island City. It was like a live concert, like studio concert they shot. And since then we played a lot together. That was, man, such a great learning experience. And that's when I realized, like, you're learning a lot from absorbing, like, on stage with playing with people. I think since then my progress, a lot of it has been because of the people I got to play with. And with Sanjay, and also like this with Manfred, when I used to play a lot. And here, who else? Then I think Mark came with Mohini. Of course, you were like constant there. Ridu.
Yes.
All those experiences were like really great. Then Ranjit.
Right, you were doing that project.
Yeah, that project. Also. That was like, I think when I was playing that was like the most intense project I had ever done. And I was like completely engrossed. Really scared also. But I have this habit of not saying no.
Right.
I'm like...
That's good, because you're out of your comfort zone.
Yeah.
It's only going to make you stronger and better,
I'm like... I had learned by then that, anyways, if something goes wrong, people are not going to call you. So rejection wasn't I wasn't afraid of it anymore.
Okay.
And like, what's the worst that can happen?
Acceptance.
Yeah. that happened, and it was great, such a great experience. Like I was pushed to do a lot of things, and I have to tell you this one very special story. Nobody knows about this. I had this wild, like for me, the ultimate musician for me was Zakir ji, and I was like, if I get to play with him, I think I can die peacefully. And I've been sort of manifesting it. Not that I ever thought that I'm at anywhere position to play with him, but I also realized that sometimes there might be some opportunity where you get to play one song with him, stuff like that. So I had this thing. So I used to, on my calendar, just randomly block a date, concert with Zakir ji.
Oh, whoa.
Did I tell you this?
No. Okay.
So yeah, I used to do this. I believed in this, and I was 100% sure it will happen. Again, not coming from a place where his pictures there, that I can even stand in front of him. But I'm like, for instance, I saw some musicians who were at my level. They got a chance to play with him. So I was like, oh, okay, then maybe there could be like one of those moments. So what happened? Once I had a gig with him on my calendar, and I got a call from someone saying that, hey, Trilok Gurtu is coming, and he wants to, do you want to play with him? I'm like, yeah, hell yes. I'm like, what's the date? And it was the same date I had blocked with Zakir ji.
Wow.
And I was like, what if I get a call from him as well?
Right. On the same day.
Yeah, but of course
it ties into what you were saying earlier about wanting something, but something else came up, which was but equal opportunity.
Yeah. I mean, it was really crazy. And I, of course, said yes. And again, I think this whole thing, we were sent the music 2 months in advance. And I was really like listening to a lot of it and prepping to a point where when I first met him for the first rehearsal, like turned out I had it all wrong, at least most of it. Because I didn't have this ability, or I didn't know what actually I was supposed to listen to in those recordings. The thing is, when there are no charts and you are given the music, you sort of interpret in your own way. But when I met him and he showed me, hey, this is the more important part which you should be playing as opposed to the other one and stuff like that. And that those rehearsals and the gig was like a master class. I was like, I sucked ass in this, but I think I learned like a lifetime of this thing. And but I was pretty sure that it's the first and the last gig with him.
Okay.
Then again, next year I got a call to play with him at Mahindra.
I saw that gig. We played before you guys.
Yeah, that one. And I was like, oh, okay, if you get a second call, which means something worked, whatever that might be. And yeah, man, it's a great, I mean, he's, every word that comes out of his mouth, I think is like a learning experience. And I still, I don't think so I fit to be in that, but whenever I get a chance, of course, I'm like, okay, I'm gonna take it and learn. And actually, there are a few concerts with him that are coming now, which I'm not allowed to talk yet.
Fantastic.
Yeah. So
yeah, let's not talk about those concerts.
Yes.
No, but like exactly these situations, no, they're not comfortable situations. Mm-hmm. They're musically demanding because they're out of your comfort zone. But that builds you up as a musician so much that it adds to your vocabulary.
Also,
in your own playing and your own journey. And it expands things,
Yeah, for sure. And also I think you become more confident. Like, okay, if you can, for whatever reason, if you can stand a gig with Trilok Gurtu, then maybe other gigs you can manage somehow that way. I mean, and not coming out of arrogance, but it's just that you have seen like the very difficult sort of situation to be in. So other situation you can somehow manage. And of course, musically, yes, to be honest with you, I didn't know much of his music, like as much as some people I know, like they know in and out of everything. I didn't know that much. I knew some.
Yeah.
And
so that's hard, I would imagine. Many years ago, he was playing at Blue Frog. Mm-hmm. This is when he started like coming to India a little more often for gigs, and his band was Ravichari, Sheldon, Dhruv, Kalpana. You know, I forget who was playing keyboards, and Nehal maybe. Anyway, so I was hanging around because Sheldon, Dhruv, and all. So I was hanging around at soundcheck, and Dwayne was doing sound, and he was playing, and then he's like, "Okay, Gino, you come and play." I was like, "Oh, what song is it?" Like, It's like, listen to Maya. I knew the song.
Yeah.
So it's like, okay, I want to hear the sound outside, so you play. So I played a little bit, ended the song, and then he's like, "Okay, you play the show. I'm going home."
Yeah.
I was like, because I was like, whoa, I'm playing firstly his drums,
Right,
but
right.
I knew his music because I was listening to him for years.
Right,
You know, so I
right.
was very comfortable with the way his music
Right.
is.
Right. Yeah.
But I know what his music is, so
Yeah.
I can't imagine coming into that cold
Yeah.
and be able to nail it. you
Yeah,
know?
yeah. Yeah, and also that style of music is not something that I was playing a lot before. So it's the first time. And the biggest of all was there's no bass player. So he's expecting you to play. I'm like, man, you're Trilok Gurtu. I can't, you know. But yeah, again, everything was a challenge, and I was really pushing myself. And after I got the gig, I was like, each night watching like YouTube videos. Like I watched that Zavinul and Trilok ji playing.
Orient Express.
Yeah, and I'm like, man, I'm gonna be the one on the side, you know. But it was like great experience, and also vocabulary. His the way he imagines or the sound he wants is very different than what I was playing a lot here, like jazz stuff. But then I realized he used to say like, don't think like a jazz musician. I first didn't get it. I'm like, what does he mean? And only later I understood like what he meant. It's like more like a world. It's like world music kind of a sound, more melodic and sound based and groove based. Groove, yeah. He's like, whenever in doubt, just groove, and you know.
Yeah, and it's also those kind of what do you say? Like I would let's use groove harmony for example. Is that each instrument is playing a particular groove, not necessarily the same accents and the same groove.
Yeah, that's very well
So
said.
he
groove
wants that
harmony.
layered thing, you know.
Yeah.
Kind of like how like maybe Latin American or African percussion layers, which is not common in Indian music because Indian music is unison based. For the
That's
most
true.
part.
Yeah.
But his influence of African and Latin music with Indian music, and he's bringing that into the melodic instruments, you know.
That's true. Yeah. No. And the first gig we played, there were like 3 other percussionists, and that's how I know exactly what you mean. He was like, of course, no, you don't have to play the same thing. It's like pointless. It's also like, you know, piano and guitar. If you play the same comping or same voicing,
It's a clash.
It's a clash. So I like what you said, groove harmony. That's pretty good.
Yeah, because it's layered. No, it's like a chord.
Yeah.
But each note is doing a different thing.
Different things, right, yeah. But yeah, vocabulary wise, like you said, I learned a lot from there. Even from playing with RB was like very different vocabulary. Playing with you and Mohini, Mark was a different vocabulary.
Right,
And and also playing with some guys in the West, you know, like with this contemporary, like European contemporary sound. That's a different vocabulary, which I still really enjoy. Like, and also tripping on this Middle Eastern sort of sound. When I heard like Shai and Tigran, those things. So it's like different sounds are there, and appreciation for each sound, you know.
Yeah.
Like for instance, to play with Ridu, that heavy music, I enjoy it as much as I enjoy playing the other style. It's just that you have to be open and understand what the music is asking for.
Exactly.
Yeah.
The key ingredient in all of this, though, is the improv side of things. No?
That's true. That's absolutely true. I can play a pop gig every once in a while. I still do. But yeah, my heart probably won't be completely
Yeah.
satisfied if I
But
do.
that's a good skill to develop also, because you have to function differently in that setting, you know?
Yeah. I want to add one thing. Like going way back in 2016, 17, when I found out that, jazz is not the only thing I can do, and then I was forced to play pop music, I was like, man, why this again? I did it in college, and then when I played and then went back to playing jazz, I found that I was so like suddenly mature than before. Because the pop sensibilities, they came into this, and that's when I understood, like, I think I got it all wrong. It's like, it's music first of all, and everything caters to this one thing. So the more you study, and Gino, I think you have been the, if I can say it, the only one I still know here who is like super versatile, and you can fit in where, and you were hands down, like, you were the best, like, biggest inspiration in terms of like a session player. Like, what is required, you show up and you play. Like, if it's a Latin gig, you're there and you will sound like that. Whether you it's your first love or not doesn't matter. You are there as a hired gun, as they call it.
You have to want to do this firstly, and secondly is, you may not be like a master at that, but enough vocabulary to make the music sound good and authentic enough,
Right.
And people say, you're not into genres and stuff like that, but there are pure styles that exist. And each one adds to your vocabulary and to your information, and you can pull them out whenever you need it. But
Right.
like you said, jazz snob, like, I feel like to develop these things from playing Latin music or playing Indian fusion or heavy metal, you have to be a snob in each of them for a little while to develop that vocab, so you have the right things, and then let it go, which you said.
Right.
It's also important.
Yeah,
Very
that's-
important, actually, to move on.
That's true. That's
Right.
true. And of course, I think there will be like people who are like heavy into Latin, like piano playing. Of
Right.
course, if there's a dedicated Latin gig and there's an option to choose between me and this other person, everyone will choose that person. But that being said, there's also a lot of time a situation where you don't want like specific this one. You can't. It's not possible. So I being inspired from you, I also realized that it's good to know all these types, and also like I was telling, learning it the hard way. I'm like, at least if you're called, you should be able to like fake it.
Yeah.
Even if you're not like the authentic player.
There's a word for it. I was talking to Jay about it. What is the word? Man. Okay, it'll come back.
Yeah, sure.
But like, there was a word, emulation. To
Right,
emulate something.
emulate.
Where you may not have the exact vocabulary, but you know enough to emulate it to sound correct.
Right.
Use the right word,
That's true.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then, of course, it's a journey also. Like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
The more experience you have playing with better players in that style,
Exactly.
it's gonna make you better at playing
Yeah,
that style.
exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
All right. So now all of this is also culminating to you writing your own music.
Yeah.
So then the time travel project.
Right.
So we'll want to talk about that a little bit.
So I think I'll go back a little bit. The solo piano thing happened. One of the reasons was the kind of person I was. It felt like it's the most easy logistically because I don't have to
Deal with anybody else.
It is true. That's what I used to feel. I mean, I'm like, okay, it's easy because I have to deal with myself, which is also very difficult. But I'm like, okay, I am responsible for my own.
Yeah.
And that's why I enjoyed. But I had this trio idea, like playing as a trio since this jazz bug hit me, of course, because you're listening to all these great sounds and you want to also play something like that. But I think for the longest time I wasn't even considering it because there was no upright bass player here. And when you told me like that tap thing which we have spoken about, like write some music and we'll play, I thought duo because again there's no bass player, which also we have to record at some point. But then I think the moment that Shashank came and I first played with him, he came to my place and we jammed, and I was like, I know that it's gonna happen now very
Right.
soon. And it was perfect because we were playing, and he played with you, and then this whole chemistry, I was like, okay, we have to do it. And then of course, like the sound of the Shy Maestro inspired, and all this contemporary style, I wanted to write something in that direction. Not that I was consciously thinking, and even in time travel you hear like different styles
Yes.
like that way. So eventually it's all like music, whatever inspirations were there. But this is by far like this one of the most special projects I think I've been part of. And I also wrote because this sound has been there in the back of my mind, and I had to play it for a long time, and now finally we get to play.
Yeah.
So I really want to like play a lot of this music actually.
It's great
you
music.
guys.
I mean, I really enjoyed playing it, and
Thank you,
we just
man.
finished recording it.
That's
so
true.
by the time this is out, the album will probably be out. Probably
Yes.
will be out. Yeah.
I don't know when you plan to release
Yeah.
this, but
me,
yeah.
me neither.
Okay.
But yeah, hopefully the album is out, and
Yeah.
people are checking it out.
Yeah, it's called Time Travel, and do check it out.
Yeah. we go. And apart from that, you are involved in a project with Kaushiki Chakrabarti.
Yeah, that so I know like Shantanu Moitra for like also 7-8 years now, which I forgot to mention in the previous. He was also like somebody I was working a lot with back then. He had some like couple of very special projects.
Were those projects happening at NCPA? Those concerts?
Correct. So one of his project is called 100 Days in Himalayas, and there's another one, Chandrayaan, it's called. So we were part of like arranging like back then, and used to spend a lot of time with him. And through him, I met Kaushiki ji, and then I played a few of her like concept shows since I think 2018 or onwards. Cut to that, I think they told me like a couple of years back that they have this concept in mind, and want me to play on that. And turned out like Rick and myself, we had to also arrange the songs, and it was a great journey. I mean, Kaushiki ji is like I meet different kinds of musicians from Indian classical background. Depending on how much they want to stretch, they let you stretch. Like I know a musician I played with Indian classical. We were playing something in Bhupali, which is like pentatonic.
Yeah.
And I wasn't allowed to play any of the notes besides those 5 notes, even like harmony wise. I'm like, then why am I even here?
Yeah.
But Kaushiki ji is kind of opposite of that. She's like, you know the best what you want to do. And so last year and a half, we were like arranging this music, and now we are touring with her, playing those shows. It's great fun. It's also, there's a lot of fixed parts in it, but what's great is like there's always like interpretation element to it. It's not like you have to play like this inversion of C major triad.
Yeah, you can fluctuate.
Yeah, and also there are like couple of like spots where you get
solo
yeah. So it's exciting, and the band is like phenomenal. Like everyone's like best in the instruments they play. So it's fun and lovely people. So
What's the project called?
It's called Pankh.
Right.
Yeah.
So you're currently on an India tour?
Yeah. And in October we are going to the US. To play some shows. Yeah.
Fantastic.
Yeah, and also I played another project with her of hers called Remembering the Divas, which is also one of the like amazing projects I've been part
Was
of.
that at the Grand Theatre?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
With Aruna Sairam ji,
Yeah.
Harshdeep Kaur I think also was there,
Okay.
sang one of the songs. So yeah, man, eventually like this music, I understood that there's no good or bad music. It's like you just have to find a way to connect with it. Like, when I got out of the college to studying jazz music, I was like, the more notes I play, the better it is. But after a few years, when I could appreciate like C major triad as much as playing C altered sound,
Yeah.
I was like, oh, okay, I think now I can, appreciate the things that I play. And
Correct.
each project is like learning. Like I still think whenever I get calls, I'm like, I start from zero, and what's the best I can do in that, and take it as a learning experience. So it's great, man. I don't think so I've even started the journey. It always
just
feels,
begun.
yeah.
I feel.
It feels like it.
Your musical statement,
Yeah, I'm curious to see where it goes.
Anything else you want? Hey, you teach as well, right?
I do. Not so much as I want to these days, because life developments.
Yeah.
But I do teach, and I enjoy teaching as well. I think the pain I went through finding a good teacher, and getting depressed with after lessons, I don't want that to happen, I feel. And whatever little I know, I do enjoy teaching. And I think Martin, my piano teacher, is like, he also showed me the art of teaching. Like, he's very good at this. So I really enjoy, like, it's like as good as playing for me. I mean, not as good maybe, but
Almost.
So I do teach like private lessons. We taught like
Yes.
yeah. But yeah, now I'm teaching privately. Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Anything else you want to plug or talk about? We
I think
spoke
I've
about a lot of stuff.
A lot, actually.
I mean, the album's coming out. Hopefully, more gigs with that music.
Yeah. I want to push that really. And I think I'm just gonna take it as it comes in coming months and years.
Yeah.
And while keeping this the artist in me, like, constant, and try to push, because that's the ultimate goal.
Yeah.
I think what I keep reminding myself is, I don't want to get into a place where I get lost for whatever reason, and lose this side of me, because I know that I won't be happy. And I found myself few times in a position where I'm playing gigs which I don't enjoy, just for the sake of money and all of that. And I realized after a couple of months I completely burn out, and then I have to take like 2 months of break to get out of it. So better is like to not overdo it, and also try to keep this as constant.
Yeah, it puts your energy in the right space, and then you give that time, and you're getting back from it,
Right.
And you're also growing, you're, what do you say, leveling up, so to speak, in your music and playing.
Right.
Yeah.
There's a sentence, I think, which is like a different context, but I want to add is, while I was in this insecurity phase, I spoke to Sanjay once, and I said, like, sir, I'm not happy because of this whole thing. I'm like competing with people and all of that. So he said, Rahul, listen to this. There's life outside Bandra. Just know that much, he said. And I was like, whoa, what does that mean? And what he actually meant is, look at the bigger picture. It's not just this much. Like, music is like this whole experience. So that statement actually changed a lot for me. So I'm never not thinking about, like, just Bombay or India or whatever. I'm always thinking like whatever best I can do on a global level. So trying to at least push myself in that direction, and then whatever happens.
Good. More power to you in that.
Thanks, man.
Thanks, Rahul.
Thank you for having me, Gino. Man, thank you.
And looking forward to more music together.
Likewise.
Thank you.
Thank you.